What if I told you that every nation on Earth, no matter how powerful, no matter how wealthy, owes money to the same invisible empire? Not a country, not a government, an empire without borders, armies, or flags. An empire built entirely on debt. We live in a world where every country is in debt. But to whom? Who could possibly be rich enough to own the world's debt? This is the story of the hidden financial empire, a system so old, so deeply woven into our civilization, that we mistake it for reality itself. Section 1. The origin. Where the empire began, our story begins in the 17th century, in a city that changed the fate of the modern world. Amsterdam. It was here, in 1609, that the world's first central bank was born. The Bank of Amsterdam. The idea was revolutionary, a bank that held deposits for merchants and issued notes that could be exchanged like money. It created stability, or so people thought. But beneath that stability, something subtle happened. For the first time, money was detached from real value. It wasn't gold. It wasn't silver. It was trust, numbers written in ledgers. And once people accepted that illusion, a new kind of power emerged. The power to create money out of nothing. That idea traveled to England, where in 1694, King William III, desperate to fund his wars, allowed a private group of financiers to lend money to the crown. In return, they were granted the right to issue banknotes backed not by gold, but by government debt. That institution became the Bank of England, and it changed everything. For the first time, a government didn't need to earn money through taxes or trade. It could borrow it, and generations of citizens would pay the price. A partnership was born between governments and bankers. The power to rule, and the power to create money. Section 2. The Rise. The Age of Dead Empires. As the centuries passed, the model spread across Europe, France, Austria, Germany, then America. Each nation created a central bank. Each central bank promised stability, and each time nations fell deeper into debt. Fast forward to 1913. In a secret meeting on a private island called Jekyll Island, a small group of bankers and politicians designed a system that would quietly hand control of America's money, supplied to a private institution, the Federal Reserve. They called it the Fed. They sold it as reform, but it was, in essence, the American version of the same empire born in Amsterdam and London centuries earlier. The Federal Reserve didn't print government money. It created bank credit, backed by government bonds, debt that the government owed to the very people who printed the money. It was the perfect circle. The government borrows money it doesn't have. The central bank creates that money from nothing. The public pays the interest forever. By 1929, this debt-driven system fueled the greatest stock market bubble in history. And when it burst, millions lost everything, except the banks, who emerged even stronger. Section 3. The breaking point when money stopped being real in 1944, as World War II was ending. World leaders met in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to design a new global financial order. They agreed that the US dollar would become the world's reserve currency, and it would be backed by gold. For a while, it worked. Nations traded in dollars, and gold guaranteed stability. But then came Vietnam, massive US spending, and the flood of printed money. By 1971, President Richard Nixon made a stunning announcement. He ended the gold standard.